Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all the subscribers. Big up to anybody new. Gratitude to you. Let's talk about Bud Crawford. In the recent press conference, which was, it's a few days old now, but he was talking about the fight, up and coming fight he had with Madrimov. And he talked about, how the preparation would be easy for him because he's basically used to fighting, sparring bigger guys. Because
was there an adjustment going from 140 to 147? And do you think there will be a similar adjustment to 154?
I feel great. I feel great. Like I always said, I always sparred bigger guys. I never sparred guys my weight because I was always too strong or hitting too hard, and I never could get the work that I really needed, so moving up in weight is just another stepping stone.
It just wasn't much of a challenge for him. That's how good this guy is. I mean, he's just, I think I've said this before, he's probably the best fighter I think I've ever seen in life, and I like the best fighter I think I'd ever seen was Floyd Mayweather. Just like outrageous. I think, for me, he takes that because he's just got that raw, animalistic beast side to him, mixed in with all the skills, mixed in with the hard work, dedication. I mean, he's a beast in the gym. He is an animal in the gym. He's a consummate professional, and he just has that high IQ where he can read fighters, break them down, time them, counterpunch, get them out of there, whatever he needs to do to win that fight, switch hit, count, like the fight slows down. I've said before, he reminds me of that Neo scene against Mr. Smith where, Smith is really trying it all and he's just doing this with one arm. That's Bud. And, he's got a fight with Madrimov for Madrimov's belt, so that'll be a 4 division that Bud will, if he was victorious. And someone in my comment section said, well, don't write off Madrimov just yet. And I was like, yeah, no, I know, but it's not Madrimov's fighting Bud though. And now look, I'll touch on that quickly, but I'll touch on the belt. So Bud, lightweight, he was undisputed at 140, undisputed at welterweight. Now he's moving up and he wants to be undisputed at 154. Wow, he probably will be.
Is becoming an undisputed champion at a 3rd weight class a priority to you? Well,
it's not a priority, but it's up in the air. You gotta understand. It's potentially 2 belts on the line. If Fondor don't fight me after this, I'm WBO and WBA champion. If he do fight me, then that's 3 belts on the line. There's only 1 more to capture. So, potentially 3 fights, that's undisputed.
To be honest with you, I did an interview in the gym recently with a trainer in there who knows Bud, and he brought Bud to Gleason's. I'll leave the link up here if you haven't seen that. We talked about Bud in there. We talked about his training methods. We talked about how he brought him to Gleason's, and as soon as he saw him, he was like, this guy's just like, he's going to be great.
And I set up sparring for him, and once I set it up and I seen him work with like 3 or 4 guys, I'm like, this dude is the real deal.
That was back in 2015 or something, right?
Yeah. I said he's the real deal. He's gonna be great.
After like one spar. So yeah, link up there for that. But Madrimov, someone was saying, don't write Madrimov off. Well, at the end of the day, I was watching Madrimov yesterday, right? I was watching his recent fight again with Kurbanov, and the more I watched that, I was like, wow, he's in a bit of trouble because, like, I said it a couple of weeks ago in a prediction video I made, early thoughts video I made. I was like, the way his rhythm is beautiful, his footwork is really beautiful. He's got a great kind of style. I did a documentary on the Uzbek style, link up here. But what he does, he attacks with a lot more methodic slowness. His hand speed is a little slower. His footwork is good, but it's a little slow, and that's going to be, really favor Bud. And also I'll show you this clip which he did at least 2 or 3 times in the opening first 2 rounds where he leans in on his jab.
Avoid those punches coming his way. Kilos at middleweight. I thought he looked absolutely massive, sir. That is a tough school.
Well, who did that? Just recently in Bud's last fight where he basically turned the fight around in the 2nd round.
Spence. Back comes Crawford with the jab. Down goes Spence. How quickly that changes.
They caught Errol Spence, leaning in, reaching. Madrimov cannot afford to do that against this elite counterpuncher because Bud is going to eat him up if he does that. And, you know, he's going to have to sharpen that up, and he's going to have to sharpen those. He's going to have to get a bit crispier with his punches, right? You can't like float in like this and shoot a lazy, not lazy, but it's just not snappy. His punches don't have enough crispness on them, you know? You got to be sharp. Bud is sharp. It's sharp up here, and it's sharp up here relates to him being sharp there. And it's looking for a long night for Madrimov, if you ask me. And that'd be amazing to see Bud get a, you know, on the road to get, because he was saying, you know, with the Fondora's belt, if Fondora doesn't fight, the belts break off a little bit and he can fight for one. I get a bit confused with the whole belt thing, but nonetheless, he's going to definitely be fighting for the Undisputed Championship, and he's probably going to get it, and that would be amazing. And I would love to see a fight with him and the winner of Tim Tszyu or Virgil Ortiz. My goodness, wow, the 154 division is gonna be smoke. I did make a video about maybe 8 or 9 months ago saying the killers at 154, and I highlighted some of the names that were either coming through that were there, or, you know, the prospects as well. And I was like, this division is going to be amazing. And, you know, look, with the introduction of Big Turkey Al-Sheikh, who is just that factor where it's like, oh, fighters are like, oh, we won't, I don't really want to fight for that. Okay, what about this money? Oh, okay. That's what Big Turk is doing, and it's I say changing the game. It could be amazing for the sport. But, you know, shout out to Hatman as well. Big up to you, bro. He made a video about Turkey Al-Sheikh, you know, saying that, you know, trying to make matchups that aren't really that realistic, you know, that can, you wonder if he's got a firm understanding of the sport, or he just doesn't care. He's just like, yeah, okay, I want Bivol to fight Obetaya, and I want Crawford to fight Benavidez. Look, as cool as that sounds, you know, when you are boxing fans, there is an aspect to that where, like, I don't know about that, bro. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I want to, like, but like, I like fights to be within the realm of, you know, realism, you know, like, if that makes sense, you know. But ultimately, if he's got the money to put these big fights up, and and the fighters are getting paid as well, man, I love that. I do. I really love that. I think these fighters are going to really do well for themselves, and I think the sport's going to be in a healthy place if this keeps happening, especially if it keeps happening in America or the UK, and they're able to spread the love everywhere. Man, we're for a good treat. That August the 3rd card is insane. It's so good. And then you've got this June 1st card as well. I'm going to be doing I was supposed to do a live stream with my friend Jay Roos Theory. Shout out to you. But we're still doing that, but we just, you know, didn't get it lined up. But hopefully next Tuesday. I'm also working on a big fight breakdown for that fight. I've got this Bivol documentary that is taking a long time, but it's going to be probably the best piece of work I've ever done, and that will be coming out. I don't want to put a time on it, but I'm working on it quite hard. It's maybe I'll put the intro at the end of this. I haven't narrated it over yet, but I'll leave it at the end of this video to give you a little bit of an idea. But it's a very artistic piece. I wanted to talk about how he comes about and how he trains to put it's called the art of perfection, how he trains and how he gets the routine and the repetition of his practice, how he puts it into play into his fights, and how his defensive responsibility is the best in the business. I think it is unbelievable. Defensive responsibility, for anybody that doesn't know, is the action after you punch. All right, you get so many fighters that might come in and go bam, they'll throw a jab, they won't move their head, even though I just did. They'll do this, or they'll do this, ow. They'll do that, and they'll stay right there, okay, without moving their head, without rolling, without slipping, without stepping back, without putting your arm up like that. Bivol does all of those. Less with the head movement, but you see that long arm posting he does? That's like stop your opponent, keep them off balance, step back. It's just the concentration level that he's on to not get hit, which is when you say chess not checkers, that's chess. That's the chess, because instead of moving a pawn, he's thinking, okay, if I move the pawn, I've got the castle here, their queen could come in there, then I've got this. That's how he's thinking. But with defensive responsibility, it's like, okay, I make sure I jab, I got to step back, and if I do that, and then if they're when he unloads on those fearsome blistering combinations, he's still able to step back and shoot those hooks because he's conditioned himself to. That's the art of perfection for me. I'll do a full explanation on that documentary in a separate video because it's like a very artistic piece of work, and it's where I want to take the channel eventually, but I can't do these all the time because they take so much time, which I'm happy to do, but I can sprinkle them in with videos like this. But anyway, I've been rambling a little bit. I am off to the gym right now, have a workout, take a few clients, have a good night, come back and edit this video. I'll get it up tonight. As I said, I've got the Canelo Munguia breakdown tomorrow morning, and I've got to work Saturday night, so I'm going to miss the Canelo fight live unless I can find a sneaky way while I'm on the decks to just try and catch the fight. But I'll have that breakdown, the post-fight, on Sunday as well. And yeah, that's it from me. I hope you guys have a great weekend, right? Peace and love. I'm out.